Right, 6 July 2024, and today I'll be giving you the latest update on everything that is happening in Zimbabwe. And I would like to welcome my audience from TikTok. I've been talking to the audience in TikTok for the past 10 minutes, and you guys who are on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, you are seeing me for the first time. And today we want to quickly go through what has been happening. There's a lot of news, and I want to take you through the news. So let's start with what's happening in ZANU-PF. As you know, there is going to be a succession battle in ZANU-PF. Mnangagwa has said that he's going to step down. He's no longer going to be the president of Zimbabwe going forward. That means within the next 3 years, we're going to have a new president in Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa has said he's not going to be seeking a third term. And I'm going to take you through what has happened overnight. Christopher Mutsvangwa has given an interview, and he has given this interview to NRTV. Through this interview, we now know what is going to happen. General Chwienga, who we all expect to be next in line, is not going to go unchallenged. Mutsvangwa says he's also going to be challenging for this position of president of ZANU-PF. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play for you a video of Mutsvangwa speaking to NRTV, during which he explains that he also is in the running to be the president of ZANU-PF. So let's see the video of Mutsvangwa speaking.
Who takeover has been spelled out. You got to convince the membership, the rank and file of the massive part that is ZANU-PF. Then they will respond by choosing you to be the next leader of ZANU-PF. So again, the democratic ethos of ZANU-PF are coming to the fore. If there are any people within the party who may want to harbor the aspirations of leadership, it's an open game.
Right, so let's unpack what Mutsvangwa has said. Mutsvangwa has said the process of becoming the next president of ZANU-PF is going to be based on an election by the rank and file of ZANU-PF. And there is no one who is next in line. It's not true that Chwienga is next in line. That is basically what he's saying, because we all know that Chwienga is the vice president of ZANU-PF, and we all know that Kimo Madii is very, very sick. He's not able to do anything. And so basically what Mutsvangwa is saying is that he's able to challenge for the position of president of ZANU-PF. And I want to unpack that. I don't think it's true. I don't think that Mutsvangwa is going to be able to challenge Chwienga. And that is also true for my TikTok audience here. It's not true that Mutsvangwa can challenge Chwienga for the president of ZANU-PF. So let's look at what has been happening. When Mnangagwa goes somewhere, he's always with Chwienga. So this week, Mnangagwa has been on 3 different occasions at 3 different places. And I'm going to be sharing with you the pictures. You saw the picture with Opam Chinguri there this week, and that was at Mtare. Then in Harare, Mnangagwa has been to various places, including inspecting the roads in Mount Hampden. You've also seen yesterday Mnangagwa moving around with Chwienga. So everywhere that Mnangagwa goes, he goes with Chwienga. And you've never seen Mutsvangwa walking around with Mnangagwa. What this means is that Mutsvangwa is not in the inner circle of ZANU-PF. He might be powerful or he might be a contender, but he's not in the inner circle. He's not in the presidium. That is basically what I'm trying to say. So we expect the next person who's going to be the president of ZANU-PF to come from the presidium. And currently, Mutsvangwa, what he's doing, I think, is just trying to put himself as one of the contenders. And I don't think it's correct. I don't think it's true that Mutsvangwa can become the president of ZANU-PF. What I think is going to happen, and let me explain here what is going to happen. The schedule is that the next Congress of ZANU-PF is in 2027 in October. And between now and 2027, people like Mutsvangwa are hoping that something happens to Chwienga, or that Chwienga falls out with Mnangagwa, or that something dramatic happens and they end up being at the front. So Mutsvangwa is setting himself up at the front, and this is probably not a very good strategy, because if you go first, normally if something is happening and you go first, you're most likely to fall by the wayside. That is what happens. If you try to go first and you don't keep quiet and observe, you most likely won't end up at the race. It's like when people are running, the first guy who runs and who is number 1 in a marathon is not normally the guy who finishes first in the marathon. So this is the mistake that is being made here by Mutsvangwa. Mutsvangwa is making a mistake. And I want to see what General Chwienga is going to do. How is he going to respond? Because remember, General Chwienga also has to make a move, because his supporters want to know if he is capable of being a president. And this now requires a move from General Chwienga. And what I would expect General Chwienga to do is to make an emphatic statement in response to what Mnangagwa has said. And this means he has to say and declare that he wants to be the president of ZANU-PF. He cannot just keep quiet. And then obviously we've got Auxillia Mnangagwa, and I'm going to show you what Auxillia Mnangagwa has done yesterday. Auxillia Mnangagwa has been campaigning on a daily basis. So let me show you what Auxillia Mnangagwa has done. Yesterday, she went to this place where she gave blankets. It's called Golden Valley Stadium. And you can see that she has a lot of people, a lot of women getting blankets. And this is the best way to campaign. If you want to campaign, you go to the grassroots, you make sure that you provide things like blankets, you make sure that you talk to the people, you hold rallies, and this is what she's doing. Auxillia Mnangagwa is actually holding a bigger campaign than most people. So I wanted to show you a picture of Auxillia Mnangagwa and Kimo Madii here. So let us open the pictures. I want to show you guys the pictures of Auxillia Mnangagwa. Auxillia Mnangagwa is very serious about her campaign. She's not playing at all. So she is hoping that when Mnangagwa goes, she can become the president. Can you believe that the first lady of Zimbabwe now wants to be the president of the country? This is something that is crazy. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm displaying the picture of Auxillia Mnangagwa. She campaigns, goes on stage, she tries to make herself look like she's someone very kind and very nice. And that is how you do a campaign. Someone like Mutsvangwa, all he does is come out and he talks, but he's got no campaign. He does not go out. He's got no team. And so I do not think that is going to work. He's hoping to use the ZANU-PF structures to win the election. And I don't think that is going to work. I think it's actually a poor strategy. However, I think General Chwienga needs to do even better. How is General Chwienga going to move out from under Mnangagwa? Because remember, if you're a vice president, you cannot openly show your intention to be the president. So this is going to be interesting. And what I think is going to happen eventually is that someone is going to get eliminated. As I said, in ZANU-PF, succession always ends with an elimination. Someone ends up being eliminated. And let's watch and see who is going to be the next person to be eliminated within ZANU-PF. I now want to look at Kimo Madii. Kimo Madii is in Congo Brazaville. You can see how much Kimo Madii was struggling to speak yesterday. He could barely talk. And I don't know why they're sending him to these international assignments. Kimo Madii is struggling very, very badly. He had a meeting with the diaspora. So I want to show you an opportunity. There is a massive business opportunity that has come out from the conversation that Kimo Madii had. So Kimo Madii met with the Zimbabweans, and I'm displaying pictures here to the guys on TikTok. You can go to Gambakwe.com after this, and you'll see the pictures that I'm displaying. Kimo Madii met Zimbabweans, and they had long discussions about investing in Zimbabwe. However, there is a young lady who came up, and she explained that there is a massive opportunity in Congo Brazaville, and this is to do with teaching English. She says there is an open market if you want to teach English in Congo Brazaville, and you can go over there. You'll find it very, very easy to go into that business. You'll be able to make a lot of money in Congo Brazaville. So if you want to, you can go to Congo Brazaville and make a lot of money as someone who teaches English. Then I want us to look at more stories. So let's look at political stories. For those guys who want to protest, right? So I got a lot of video and audio calls last night. People are very unhappy about the fact that we are saying, do not protest in Zimbabwe as yet. You can only protest in Zimbabwe when the SADC has put Zimbabwe on the agenda. So I've been receiving a lot of calls from people to say, why can't we go to Zimbabwe now and protest? And I've said, don't protest in Zimbabwe now. You'll be shot. Mnangagwa is going to shoot to kill. So yesterday, The police commissioner, Paul Nyati, has issued a statement, and he said that the police in Zimbabwe are ready to deal with any violent protests, and they're not going to give any permission for people to protest ahead of the SADC summit. So what I would like you guys to know is that you're not going to be allowed to protest in Zimbabwe. It's not going to happen. And it's crazy. If you think that you'll be allowed to protest, it doesn't work to protest in Zimbabwe without a plan. So you need a plan, and you also need clear objectives. If you look at what has happened in Kenya, the protests were spontaneous, but the demands were clear. They didn't want the law to pass. They didn't want the government to spend more than it was spending. And these things are happening. So the government is responding to something specific. In the case of Zimbabwe, that is not the case. Zimbabwe is not yet on the SADC agenda. And also, there are no clear objectives and no clear leaders of the protest. So you can't just go to Zimbabwe and protest and say, we're protesting. You must have a plan. And I want to take you through the plan, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to take you guys through the plan at the end so that we don't lose our audience here. I need to give the news first. So in terms of news, more news, let's go into more news. I want to take you to South Africa now. And I want to take you to this young lady here called Innocent Sadiki. So Innocent Sadiki here, her house has caught fire and it's trending in South Africa. The reason is most South Africans do not believe that this house caught fire and they are suspecting that there was some shady business done by Innocent, but I don't believe that it's shady. And I want to explain to you why. I know Innocent Sadiki and Pindulo Sadiki myself personally. So let me show my face so that people don't think I'm lying. So I know Innocent Sadiki and Pindulo, they're pastors. I know them. Why? Because Pindulo and Innocent Sadiki, when they moved out of the house where they were staying in Midrand, I actually bought the house where they were staying. So I'm talking about myself here. I'm not talking about someone else. I bought the house where they were staying. So I had the opportunity to spend time with Pindulo as we moved to his new house. I actually assisted him to move to his new house. Not this one, another house. He had another house in a complex. So I assisted him to move into a new house in a complex. He's a very nice guy. He is a producer and he also does a lot of video. He's got massive amounts of furniture. And the estimation is that the total amount of goods that have been lost or contents that have been lost is 3 million rands. And sorry, it was 2 million rands. And the house itself was 2 million rand. So the total loss to Innocent Sadiki and Pindulo Sadiki is a total of 5 million rands. And people feel that this is not true. These two cannot be having so much furniture. I can vouch for them in terms of what I've seen. These are very nice people. And it's unfortunate when you have such a misfortune, you lose a lot. And 2 million in South Africa is not a lot of money anymore. So it's very sad that they've lost all this property. But this is what has happened. And this is trending in South Africa. I now want to go to a young lady here. She's called Tatenda Nyoni. She's from Rusape. Tatenda Nyoni has won a scholarship to the United States of America. She won what is called the Guinness. So there was a competition called the Guinness, and she won this competition. She's going to be going to the United States of America, where she got a scholarship. So congratulations to Tatenda Nyoni. She's going to do very, very well in the United States of America. She did a contest. She was contesting with people from all over the world, and she's the only Zimbabwean that has been in this competition where she won. I now want to go to other stories. You know that Mnangagwa has been busy with the project, and this project is at Mount Hamden. The road project at Mount Hamden is refusing to finish. It's very difficult for Mnangagwa. This project is one of the worst nightmares for Mnangagwa. However, the problem is Mnangagwa has tried to do too much at the same time. He has tried to do Chirundu. He has tried to do Mount Hamden. He has also tried to do the roads in the city center of Harare. And all this has taken a toll. And what they've now done is, yesterday, they've ordered everyone to leave everything else and focus on the Mount Hamden so that this project can finish. They've also ordered the contractors from the Harare-Chirundu road to go and start working on the roads in the city center of Harare. This is a disaster. You cannot believe that Mnangagwa has been doing this. It's crazy that he thinks he can do multiple projects. So he can do multiple projects and finish them. So as things stand, Mbudzi is not finished. That project is a mess. If you go into the city center of Harare, there's construction taking place which is not complete. And if you go to the housing, the houses are not finished, the villas. If the presidents were to go and sit in those villas, they'll be crushed. They'll die in those villas because those villas are a danger. Imagine sending someone like President Ramaphosa to go and sit at a villa which has just been painted with no furniture. It won't work. So this project is clear that it won't finish. The Mnangagwa government has made a mistake. Mnangagwa has done a terrible job of doing this project of SADC. And then I want us to go on the newspapers. So let's see what the newspapers have published today. I'm going to look at today's press and let's see if there's anything that has been published. We're going to start with the Herald Zimbabwe and see if there's any news on the Herald Zimbabwe. Not yet. The Herald Zimbabwe is not published. Let's look at the Chronicle Zimbabwe and see if they published. The Chronicle Zimbabwe is one of the top newspapers in Bulawayo. A lot of people read the Chronicle Zimbabwe, and they also haven't published. So let's look at B Metro. There's also a B Metro in Bulawayo and see if they've published. Let's see if they have anything. Right, so we have a story here from B Metro, and I'm going to share with you the screen. In Bulawayo, the stories are very interesting. It's always about some affair that is taking place, or a fight, or someone has done something, someone's wife or husband. So in this particular case, we have the story of a woman loses job after dating a pastor. So losing a job is one of the worst, most heartbreaking experiences that one has to go through, especially in circumstances where they feel they were unfairly dismissed. This might be true for a single mother of two from Bulawayo who has been left devastated after she was fired from the employment of the Child Care Ministry in Zimbabwe, an NGO, for dating a pastor who was also employed in the organization. The woman, Faris Tembo, said she was in a relationship with Pastor Leonard Changara for 10 months. And when she heard rumors that her lover was getting married to another woman, she confided in a senior pastor at the organization and the church. I was in a relationship with the pastor from our church, Changara, from May 2022 up to February 2023. After dating this pastor for 10 months, I heard that he was getting married to another woman. I confronted him and he denied the allegations. I approached the senior pastor, Amos Njovu, telling him about my relationship with Changara. And I thought that as a senior pastor would advise us, but little did I know that I was digging my own grave. So Tembo indicated that after confiding with the pastor, she was suspended at work. So you can go and look at this story. It is in the B Metro newspaper. The B Metro newspaper is one of the top newspapers in our top entertainment newspapers. But my favorite newspaper in Harare, H Metro, also part of the Zim papers, stable. Then if you look at the Star newspaper here in South Africa, let's see if they published, if there's anything new in the Star newspaper. So today, the Star newspaper is not published. So that is the Saturday Star. And I won't have any news for you in terms of what is happening in South Africa. However, as you know, there's a GNU taking place in South Africa. And in South Africa, the interesting thing is politics is very open. People do politics openly. No one gets killed. It's not like in Zimbabwe where if you're doing politics, you have to be worried about your own life. That is basically what happens. But in terms of the big news that has happened, the rapper who's called Jub Jub has been found not guilty. The NPA, or the National Prosecuting Authority, have dropped all the charges against Jub Jub. And this is something that has been going on for a very long time. This guy is very popular. He runs a show called We Are Jola 99, which is the most watched show in the whole of South Africa. There's no show which is as watched as We Are Jola 99. In fact, this show is so popular that when he got these charges, and they dropped him. They could not find a replacement. They could not find a replacement for Jub Jub, who was a presenter for this show. He does it in a very interesting way. And the South African media industry or landscape has changed dramatically. There is a lot of local productions in South Africa that are here giving us news and entertainment. Although myself, I don't have time to watch. I rarely watch TV. I'm always producing and I'm always talking to different people. So it's very difficult for me to find a chance to watch TV. And then if you go to Botswana, in Botswana, there's a newspaper called Maggie or Maggie. I don't know if I used to call it Maggie. So that is the newspaper there in Botswana. So let's look at what the Botswana people are seeing right now at Maggie. I know we've got a large audience in Botswana. So let's look at what's in Maggie. And Maggie is a small newspaper. It's what we call a tabloid newspaper. It's not a big newspaper. So in Maggie, they are saying Khama's return is imminent. So Ian Khama, the former president of Botswana, has been in exile. And I think he's been living in either Lesotho or Swaziland, one of those two countries, and also in South Africa. So the newspaper reports here that Ian Khama is about to come back. And let us read the actual detail of the story. Over the past weekend, during Seretse Khama commemoration marathon, some royal uncles and Balekwa Kosi camped outside the Khama homestead in Phala Maukuru, Serowe. They would, on the day of the marathon, invade the quarter with placards where they clashed with the police, resulting in at least 8 of them being arrested. They also claimed they were brutalized. So according to the chairperson, their visit to the caller was to clean it up as the rightful owner, Ian Khama, is on the verge of returning home. So Ian Khama is about to go back to Botswana, and there's been a massive fight between Ian Khama and President Masisi over the past few years. Botswana's politics has changed dramatically with the coming of Masisi, and the handover did not go well. There was no great handover between the two, and it's sad because Botswana is one of the countries which I really liked. I liked the politics that they were playing over there in Botswana. Now, I want to look at the comments and let's see what our viewers here are saying. And obviously, you guys in TikTok, I'm going to be ignoring you for now until I set myself up so that we can see you on the same screen. Tawana is saying, good morning, Gambakwe. Good morning, Tawana. And then Gono Creative says, according to ZANU-PF Constitution, Chwienga is not next in line because they must go for a Congress to choose the leader. Under Zim Constitution, Chwienga is next in line. Okay, so let me explain why Chwienga is next in line. Chwienga is not next in line because of the ZANU-PF Constitution. Chwienga is next in line because he is the most senior person after Mnangagwa who is left. So ZANU-PF is a military organization. So it's a command structure. One person is the commander, the next person is the deputy, and so forth. So when the one that is on top leaves, the next person goes up and fills that position. So if someone tells you that there's an election in ZANU-PF, they're lying to you. The ZANU-PF leader is never challenged at a Congress. There has never been a challenge or an open challenge on a ZANU-PF leader or a sitting ZANU-PF president. There's also never been a sitting ZANU-PF president who has resigned. All the existing ZANU-PF presidents have been removed by force. So Mugabe was removed by force, and the guys before them were removed by force. Most of them were killed. If Mnangagwa was to step down properly and hand over, that would be a first. It has never happened in ZANU-PF. There's always going to be a clash, and there's always going to be an elimination. So no one ever finishes their term. In ZANU-PF, ZANU-PF is a military organization. They do not believe in handing over power. Do not believe it. Do not believe that is going to happen. And don't believe could someone like Mutsvangwa can come from the side and become a president. The presidium is almost a closed group of people. One of them is going to be the president, and Mutsvangwa has to find himself into the presidium if he wants to become the president of Zimbabwe. So I hope Mkoma understand what I'm saying. I know there's a constitution which says there will be an election, at the Elective Congress. But in reality, that will never happen. You will never see Chwienga sitting there and being contested, because he's going to lose. The reason why he's going to lose is because he's going to be outmaneuvered. People will lie against him, and it will be a campaign. And that means there will be a dirty fight. And I don't think they will allow it. It will weaken the party very badly. So you won't see an open contest between Chwienga and Mutsvangwa and Opam Chinguri and Valerio Swanda. Those are the 4 contenders right now. What you're going to see is an attempt by Auxillia Mnangagwa. Auxillia Mnangagwa is going to try to become a contender or a president. So mark my word, Auxillia Mnangagwa, the way she is behaving like someone who wants to become a president. Her sons are too young. They won't be able to go into the presidency. So what she's decided is herself, she's going to want to put herself as the president of Zimbabwe. So now you have 5 contenders. And this is going to be very, very interesting. So as I said, you've got Chwienga, then you've got Valerio Swanda, you've got Mutsvangwa, and you've got Opam Chinguri, and now you've got Auxillia Mnangagwa. She now wants to be a president. She's been going out and campaigning crazily, like she's been campaigning for the past 5 months. And at first we thought that she wanted to campaign for her sons, but it's clear that she wants to actually become a president herself. Auxillia Mnangagwa, I would have a president after her husband. And this is crazy. I've never believed that this would happen. Then let's go to Scala and Garivume aspiring they will lead the protests. Are they real or they like stay in jail? Mkoma Shadrack, you're correct. Scala and Garivume, I talked to Garivume's people yesterday. Do not protest in Zimbabwe before the Zimbabwe is on the agenda, because they are basically protesting for Mnangagwa to step down. And they won't allow it. Even the guys who are coming into ZANU-PF, they won't allow you to protest without a purpose. The only way that you can protest in Zimbabwe is if SADC has agreed to the conditions that I've put here. And the conditions are simple. Mnangagwa cannot be SADC chairperson. The CM report must be on the agenda of SADC, and SADC must order a dialogue in Zimbabwe, which is mediated by SADC, leading to a transitional authority, Mnangagwa stepping down, and fresh elections. That is how you end up with a proper protest, because now you're protesting against SADC, not against ZANU-PF. If you try to protest against ZANU-PF, you're going to lose. And I'm going to upload a video, an audio that was sent last night of someone saying, Gambakwe, why are you saying this? Why are you saying people should protest in Zambia? So I want you guys to hear the opinions. And guys, I don't mind someone calling me a CIO. I'm not a CIO. I don't have to be a CIO. I told you, if I was a CIO, I'll be Isaac Moyo and above. Apana CIO and level Gambakwe azigoni. CIO ava suit zakapera. They are way too low for Gambakwe. Imagine me, square the whole day, Doro Pagabawa. No, it won't work. Let's go into other stories. Adley says we cannot be ruled by Auxillia. The country is in a bad shape already. So we can't be ruled by Auxillia. Yes, I do agree. We cannot be ruled by Auxillia. Auxillia Mnangagwa, she is okay as the wife of Mnangagwa, but she cannot be the president. However, she's trying to be the president of Zimbabwe. And the corruption that Auxillia Mnangagwa has got is crazy. She's got crazy corruption. Sorry, guys, in the TikTok. She's got crazy corruption, and she would plunge our country into a mess. Zimbabwe under Mnangagwa has done very badly. Mnangagwa has been the worst president ever in Zimbabwe. It's a mess that Mnangagwa has created. Someone who's going to come, anyone who comes is going to do very well compared to Mnangagwa. There's no way that you can fail to do better than Mnangagwa currently. Then trust saying, my twins are right, president, copy, great script. It won't and will never be allowed to happen. Auxillia Mnangagwa is taking at least 30 minutes of the news bulletin every single day. At least 30 minutes is given to Auxillia Mnangagwa in the campaign. And it's crazy. Then let's go to the last comment. Auxillia ngadzikame and futhi ZANU-PF aingade kuda kutevedza constitution ivo vasina kuishandisa pakapinda Mnangagwa. Yes, correct. But remember something. We are in the post-Mnangagwa era. And what I always say to General Chwienga is, sometimes he moves too slowly. And sometimes he gives others too much of a chance. And what I would do if I was General Chwienga is I would be willing to lose what I've got. I'll move faster. I'll be more assertive. I'll start building my team. And I'll start working with the opposition. So right now, it's clear. Mnangagwa's politics of alienating everyone, it doesn't work. So what Vice President Chwienga or General Chwienga needs to do is to create a new approach and a new system, allow a transitional system, and after a transitional system, allow a fresh election. Zimbabwe needs at least 15 years to fix the systems. So that is where General Chwienga needs to go. He needs to work on the systems. He needs to make sure that this thing works. Right, so I think we've done enough for today. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to show you the Herald newspaper and the Chronicle newspaper. It's unfortunate, but I'll come back to the TikTok guys. What I'll be doing with TikTok is that every weekend, I'm going to round up all the news. So guys, I've got 2 lives right now going on, one on TikTok and obviously the 3 main TikToks, lives that we do. Our TikTok audience is very important because that's where our women are. Most of our women watch me on TikTok. So on the weekend, we're going to do a roundup of all the important stories. And we're also going to be doing what we call documentaries, short documentaries of about an hour or 2. And we're going to be calling in people to talk to me on TikTok. So join our TikTok, Gambakwe Media, and let's start a big conversation. We want to build our country to become one of the best countries in the world. And the media is the foundation of a great country. We want everyone across Zimbabwe to know what is happening. For example, after I finish here, we take about 10 minutes of this broadcast and we send it to the rural areas. We want to build a great country. And also, I'm going to be traveling next week. I'm going to be traveling to Zambia, and they're going to be seeing me as I give you updates of everything that will be happening. Then during the August summit, you're going to see me in Zimbabwe, which brings me to our appeal for today. So, guys, we now need to buy the ticket for Gambakwe to travel to Zimbabwe. So this is very, very important. We're now fundraising for my ticket, my flight ticket to Zimbabwe in August. I'm going to spend about 2 weeks in Zimbabwe. So we need the flight ticket. So this is going to cost approximately $500 for the ticket. So there is fumojona.com. Go over there and donate the money for us to fly. I've flown to Botswana. I'm now going to fly to Zambia, and then we're going to fly to Zimbabwe. You don't want the summit, the August summit, to happen with me not there. Because if I'm there, I'll be able to take you to what is happening. And guys, I'm totally safe. I'm the only safe person in the whole country. Mnangagwa will not kill me. I will be totally safe. I will walk around and do my business, do my job. I'm the only person who's not a political contender. I'm the only person who's allowed to talk what I want to talk, so that you guys can hear the opinions of someone who is really not part of the competition. Saka, don't expect me to be in danger. I'm going to be in Zimbabwe. I'm going to be very, very safe. In the Matskoma Angu, they're going to protect me. If anyone tries to touch me, they'll be touched. Right. So I think we've done enough. I think everyone doesn't want more Auxillia to be the president of Zimbabwe. There's so many comments here about Auxillia being the president of Zimbabwe. So I think we've done enough. Let's recap. And then I'll be back later in the evening when we talk about the SADC protests. So Mutsvangwa, Christopher Mutsvangwa, has come out and he said General Chwienga is not next in line to be Zimbabwe president. The person who's going to be president is going to be voted for by the rank and file of ZANU-PF in October 2027, when the next elective Congress comes out. And he has issued this statement during a video interview with NRTV. So I'm going to play for you again that little clip.
Who will take over has been spelled out. You got to convince the membership, the rank and file of the massy part that is ZANU-PF. Then they will respond by choosing you to be the next leader of ZANU-PF. So again, the democratic ethos of ZANU-PF are coming to the fore. If there are any people within the party who may want to harbor the aspirations of leadership, it's an open game.
Okay, I do not believe it. It's not an open game. My belief is that Mutsvangwa is trying to place himself in position. And in fact, Chiwenga is next in line. That is my belief. And I think Chiwenga is going to firmly guide the country. I believe that he won't be like Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is very, very corrupt. And Mnangagwa has damaged our country. Mnangagwa has destroyed Zimbabwe. And I believe that Chiwenga is someone who can actually go into discussions with the oppositions. He's very pragmatic. He finishes his projects and is the kind of person that can allow us to go into the transitional authority and fresh elections. I believe that this is possible under Chwienga. So let's see what happens. Let's see how Chwienga moves. The next move of Chwienga is very, very important. And I do not believe, Kuti, we can continue like this. 2 months is the maximum that can happen, and Mnangagwa should be out of office. Wikino has caused a massive problem. That Takachibata Kuti G audio is what ended Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa was ended by Wikino. And all the corruption, we're going to see a lot more happening within the next few weeks. So I would like to thank all the audience that is on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. I would like to end the stream for you guys, and I'm going to continue with my guys on TikTok. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to continue seeing me, switch over to TikTok, go to Gambakwe Media. You see me continue to talk for the next 5 minutes as we wrap up. So what we do for TikTok is we do the pre. So before I go live, my TikTok audience joins me. And then after I finish, when I wrap up, my TikTok audience is going to stay with me as I complete the steps of shutting down and sharing. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And I'll talk to you again today at 9 p.m. We're going to be restarting some of our interviews. So if you want to be a guest, let me know. We're going to restart. We're going to do a lot. And next week, we're traveling to Zambia. Thank you very much, and a good morning to you all.